Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's Sarah from I Am Simple Natural Life. Today I'm talking about the Dream, Create and Achieve model I use within my coaching program. Doesn't matter if you're interested in my coaching or not, there is something that you can learn. This is what I do with my one-to-one clients, and it is the foundation for all of my coaching programs, all of my offerings that I do. The Dream, Create, Achieve model. So for dream, this is a huge problem for so many mums out there, for so many women, that we don't know really how to even start, how to dream about how life could be different, because we are so bogged down sometimes with the practicalities of dealing with the children, maybe living in scarcity mode, feeling that there's not enough finances, there's not enough time. Money and time are big influencers on our perception of our lives, basically, and we feel often that we don't have enough, and we are living in lack. And when we're living in that place of there isn't enough, it can be really hard to actually start dreaming about how life could be, because it just seems so far away. So with my clients, we look at how to start dreaming, and that involves really unpicking a lot of the stories from your early years, childhood particularly, but also on through your life, of maybe the stories that you have around wanting more. And whether that word might feel icky to you, or make you feel that you're wrong to want more. And that can be a real thing that we do get drilled into us as children, like you shouldn't be asking for more. You should be grateful for what you've got. The grass is always greener, and all of that kind of stuff. Basically, if you want more, you'll never be happy. You should be just thankful for the lot in life that you have. And so we have all this kind of shame around feeling that we want more. And I know, as a mum myself, when the children were really small, and I felt on one side so lucky that, we weren't on the breadline. We're in a privileged position. I am in a privileged position, absolutely. And yet I felt unfulfilled. I felt frustrated. I didn't feel I had any control in my life. And then there's the shame around that because of your childhood stories, that you then feel shame for wanting more than you've got, when some people don't even have that, and all of those things. So the way I work with my clients is to start to unpeel that and unpick those stories, so that the vision for how things could be starts to grow. And there's lots of techniques that you can use. And in fact, I did share some in my Facebook group earlier this week. So the links are all in the description, but go to I Am Simple Natural Life Community, join that Facebook group, and I'll accept you in, and then you'll be able to watch it on the replay. I talked about some of the techniques that you can use to help release these old stories, things like Ho'oponopono and journaling and whatever. So that's the dream stage. And then we move on to create. And that's once you've got this vision of how you want things to be, you can start to make those dreams a reality, but in really easy, simple steps. Because if your life's here and you want your life to be big and over here, and it's just a small little box at the minute, you're not going to get there overnight. You're not. But what you can do every day, right from now, right from today, is you just make some small changes, and then a few more and a few more. And it can help to have a coach that will guide you through this, but it's for sure something that you can do on your own. And it's just identifying what's one thing that you could do today that would move you towards that goal. So for me, when the children were very young and I felt real guilt over spending money on things for myself, I had a lot to unpick and a lot of layers to go through in terms of the stories that I was carrying. But on a practical level, I just decided that occasionally I would allow myself to get a hot chocolate at a cafe. That was it. Go to a cafe and buy myself a hot chocolate. And, you know, for most people, that's not a big deal. But for me at the time, that was a big step towards a life where I felt that I mattered, where we had more abundance in our life, where I could buy things without feeling that guilt. And so that was my first step towards that. And then when that becomes normal, you take the next step and the next step. So that is the create stage. That's one technique that I find really helpful for this stage, is to think, what would the future me do? So you have your vision because you've gone through your dream stage. You've really built up a really clear vision of this life that you are going to create. And then from that, you can think, when you're making decisions like, shall I get a hot chocolate at the cafe, for example, you can then think, well, what would that future me do? And for me, that future me would treat herself to a hot chocolate and really enjoy it and feel the abundance from making that decision. Yours will be different, and it doesn't have to be a financial thing at all. It could be wanting to have better connection with your children, and you imagine this life where you all enjoy each other's time and you have time for them, rather than at the moment you feel like you're just in this rigid structure of this has to be done, this has to be done, this has to be done, and there's no time and whatever. And so your relationship is suffering with your children. In the create stage, you can think, the person that is living this life with these really engaged children that you feel completely connected with, you're enjoying each other's time, what would that person do? And today you make just one choice. So it could be just sitting next to one of your children for 10 minutes and just engaging with something that they're already doing. And that's just your one small step towards creating the life that you are imagining. And then the final step is achieve. So this is the really, really fun part. You're achieving what not that long ago you were too scared to even dream of. And the best bit about the achieve step is that you'll get to that stage a lot quicker than you think. You know, when you're starting off and you're scared to even dream, it feels scary to even think ahead. And then suddenly you're there and you think, that didn't take very long, and now I want more, and I want a different vision, and you keep working towards it, but you start to see the results at this stage, and that just really fuels the dream and fuels the vision to really just to get more clear, to get more precise about exactly how you want things to be. And at that stage, it's where you can really step away from your old habits. So what will happen is you've started to dream, you've unpicked some of the stories that are holding you back. You start to dream, you create in taking the first steps towards that dream. And then you start to achieve and you start to see results. And that's just wow. But what you might find is that something we call upper limiting, but it's your subconscious will think, oh, that's too much now. That's too much. We've got to stop. And what you'll need to do is revisit your steps. So go through the unpicking all the different layers, look at what stories you're telling yourself. You know, now maybe the stories you've got too much, and where has that come from, and where have you felt shame before? Where were you made to feel shame around wanting more, for example? And you will unpick, every time you do it, you will discover new things. And it's fascinating to know that there's just always more, and there's always more. And I did it over a money block this week. There was something, and it'd been staring me right in the face, and I just couldn't see it until suddenly it was there. And now I've done some work. I've used the tools and techniques to really dig deep into the memories that surround the block. and then just let it go. And I've released it, and now it's not there. Or it's not there to a certain limit, and then if I find I get stopped again, then that's the time to revisit and go back and see, is it cropping up in different ways? What's going on? So some things you will release and they'll be gone forever, and some things you release and come back, and then release a bit more and come back and then release a bit more. It's a process that you have to go through. But that is my dream, create, achieve model. It's my unique 3-step model that I use with my clients, but I'm sharing it here because I really feel, whether you're part of my coaching program or not, it can really help you. And it's simple enough that you can get started on your own. So step 1, just dare to dream. You can dream. Look at what's stopping you dreaming, release those things and start to get a vision. Then you start taking some steps. You're in your create stage. You can start to take your steps towards that vision. What would the future you do? And then you start to see the results and enjoy those results. And then when you find yourself stopping yourself again, you start back at step 1 at the dream stage. Hope that helps, and I hope you found it interesting. If you want more information, look in the description below. There's all my links and everything that you might need. And send me a DM and we can chat. So see you soon. Bye.